This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus, and been a while since I did a political social rant, but I need to do this because I know people who post some of the stupidest things, and this isn't a right wing or a left wing thing. It's just a stupid person thing. Um, so of course, what's been commonly seen on my Twitter feed, because I'm not one of those people who block others. I actually feel like part of the reason why I don't block people who have views that don't align with mine is because, one, they deserve to be heard too. No matter how vile, how fucked up, real is real. Everybody has a right to say what they want to say. Now, do I feel like they should say it? No. And while I do think they have the right, I think they also need to understand. And I think this is where my rant's going. Basically, is that people need to understand that sure, freedom of speech, blah 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 blah. Just know this: what you say has consequences. And if someone says something back, you know what? You put it out there, especially if you do it on the internet. The internet is a completely public place. Sure, you can set your social media settings where only your friends see it, but even your friends have a right to clap back at you. So know that whatever you say, someone will have the right also to say something back. Do I believe that everybody should say something back? No. Just like I don't believe that you should say the type of shit that may be negative, hostile, racist, sexist, whatever. If it's something that's in poor taste, that's offensive, that can be considered just plain right disgusting, you know what? I don't think you should say it, but if you feel like you want to say it, go ahead. It's your right. Just know that shit comes back to you all the time. Used to tell people I used to work with at my old job all the time, just be careful what you say on the internet. Don't say anything on the internet that you're not willing to deal with, because it can come back and cause problems. So, that being said, a lot of people seem to just feel like they're, they have anonymity in what they say and just can say whatever they want to say. That's not true. Again, people should have come back to you. But I guess that's not really the point. The point I'm driving at is, sadly, ever since the election of Donald Trump and the fact that a person like him, who's been able to say some of the most egregious things in the world, has been able to use that to gain a position of power, I guess a lot of people feel emboldened to say just whatever and to have all types of stuff posted. But of course, people are coming back at it because not a lot of people care for the way that he does things. They don't care for his style of leadership. They don't care for the things that he say. Like me personally, I feel like he is way too more focused on making himself look good and complaining about things that bother him as far as what personally than about this country, about world politics, about what he needs to do as the leader of the United States. He's sitting there tweeting about the ratings on The Apprentice. He's getting mad because no fucking celebrities want to be at his inauguration. He's chastising his quote unquote enemies because he wants to make them feel bad again because he won, they lost. Things like that. Just very petty, childish, inconsequential things that have nothing to do with your position as President of the United States. You have a lot more to be concerned with than whether or not somebody likes you, whether or not somebody wants to be your friend, wants to perform for you at an inauguration. All that is inconsequential. You have a job to do. You have a huge job. And sitting there going back and forth, sniping at SNL and all that shit, it's just not. It's not. It's not beneficial to us as a nation, which should be your main concern. The people of the United States, the people who you claimed during your campaign that you were fighting for, that you were trying to quote unquote make America great again for. Um, so now when people are upset and angry and are commenting on that, um, especially some of the things that he said, the racial tension that he drew up in his campaign, where he would talk about, um, different races and things like that. And when he would bring up religions and talk about banning religions and locking up Muslims and put them on a list and building walls to keep Hispanics from Mexico out and making the Mexicans pay for this wall so he can keep Hispanics out because they're taking jobs from America. All this stuff that, the homophobia, all that stuff that he built up. So when people who aren't in agreement with that, people who don't want to see racism rise again, who don't want to see sexism become a big thing again, who don't want to see discrimination, period. Well, his followers seem to have an issue with people not liking that stuff. So I've noticed a lot of times people who follow him will find ways to clap back. And in particular, this whole incident with the kids in Chicago who beat up the white disabled guy who said he was a Trump supporter. Now, anybody with common sense, anybody who considers themselves a decent person, does not like what happened. I don't know anybody, at least in my circle, who don't like Trump, by the way. Most of them can't abide by him. But everybody is in agreement. That was a heinous act by some idiots who need to be punished by the fullest extent of the law. Should it be a hate crime? Probably so. Yeah, because they went out of their way to attack a disabled person. And it's for the stupidest of thing because he likes somebody you don't like. Really? So that warrants him getting beat the fuck up? No, you guys need to go to jail. You need to be fucking locked up. You're getting what you deserve. So I have no sympathy with him. Of course, there are people out there who want to defend them because they're fucking idiots. They have no fucking God. They have no fucking grasp on human decency, and I question whether or not they have a grasp on reality. Because you don't defend shit like that. You don't back shit up like that. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. They were fucking wrong. So, what's happening now is that you're seeing a lot of people who support Trump using this as an opportunity to attack groups such as Black Lives Matter and people who have an issue with the things that Trump did. Again, right is right, wrong is wrong. What Trump did is wrong, but no. They're now using this as a reason to validate why what he did wasn't so bad because they're trying to say, well, see, these guys, they said that, they're showing us that Black Lives Matters is really racist and stuff like that. Mind you, Black Lives Matter never came out in support of these people. It's not like the leadership of the group came out and was like, we support full wholeheartedly. It's not like ISIS, how when there's something that happens that's considered a terrorist act, you see ISIS jump up. Never, nothing like that, But people are using this as an opportunity to treat it like that. Glenn Beck is going to fuck off and trying to make himself relevant again. This gives him relevancy because it gives him a talking piece. And it's just like, really? So, what you're trying to tell me is this is your line of logic. Now, and this is the line of logic that I've noticed from a lot of people, because some of the people who I've seen who posted have said some very fucked up things, even on my timeline. and have like agreed to some really fucked up things, like um, Muslim endearment and registration, things like that. Um, Supporting KKK rallies and stuff like that. Um, these are fucked up people, and they're using this as the validation. Like, see, this is what Obama supporters like, because apparently now all of a sudden there's been some link on some site where uh, there have been people who are trying to free the kids and like want them out of jail, which is natural. You get dumbasses who don't want to see dumbasses put in jail. They try to twist it and swerve it into a racial thing, and it's just like, no, they need to fucking go to jail. They need to fucking get the book thrown at them. Mind you, we can have that whole discussion about whether or not whites would get the same treatment. We've seen it before happen where they have it and whatnot, so we can have that discussion, but that's a totally separate discussion. Bottom line is, these dudes are fucked up. They need to go to jail. We can have the whole what if they were white discussion in a separate manner, but if we're just discussing just the topic on hand, yeah, they need to go to jail. We don't need to free them because white people need to get treated different. At least in my opinion, that's no justification for letting these dudes walk. They did a fucked up thing. But again, that's a whole nother argument. Anyway, but you're seeing people talking about, see, people who support Obama or who support fucking Black Lives Matter, they want these guys out. Okay, so cool. What you're saying is that you, as a racist, as a sexist, as a homophobe, as just a generally fucked up person, shouldn't be vindicated in the fact that these fucked up dudes and the fucked up people who support them are doing the same fucked up shit like you did. Think about this. You're trying to justify being a fucked up person by showing us that, hey, see, there's fucked up people who also say they support someone else who's opposite of who I support. Makes sense of that to me. Where did we go wrong in this world when people felt the need to think that that's cool? That is a very valid line of reasoning. It fucking flabbergasts me, and I see it on all sides. It's not just that side. Like, I see people who like want to justify so many things. I see Bernie Sanders supporters trying to say, see, if Bernie Sanders would have did this and that, then we wouldn't be here. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. Same thing with Hillary Clinton. I see people back up Hillary Clinton with that type of logic in situations. I can't think of anything specific off the top. Although I will say this, I know a lot of people like to say, well, Bernie Sanders would have won the nomination, he would have beat Trump. That's not necessarily true. Especially since when you think about the racial and religious divide, the fact that this is an older Jewish guy, the religious faction. Has there ever been a Jewish president? I don't know. But the fact that people turned out so vigorously behind these racial points that Trump made and the religious points that Trump made, on top of the fact that there were a lot of Trump supporters who voted against Hillary because they didn't think a woman should be in charge. You really think they were going to think an old Jewish man should be in charge? Think about that. Seriously. But anyway, that's, again, another aside. I know I make these videos long with all my asides, but it's just... It's troubling to me that you want to validate your ignorance by pointing out, well, there are other people who are ignorant. Because I've seen stuff like, hey, there's racist liberals. Gee, what a shock. You mean to tell me that there's white people who have political allegiance to the Democratic Party or to the liberal movement that don't like black people, color me speechless. Um, it's like racism isn't bound by what political party you are, you dumb fuck. You could be racist regardless. There is nothing. There's no set rules as to or guidelines to what racism is. Just like there's no set guidelines as to who is sexist. There's no set guidelines as to who's homophobic. Stop it. Stop trying to validate that shit. If you feel the way you feel the way you feel. You don't need to fucking try to make a point to me like you're gonna make me be like, you know what? I understand why you're such a fucked up person and why you have such fucked up views. Because these people are fucked up people and have fucked up views too. And they just happen to particularly have one thing in common with me, possibly. And that is they might like the same food I like. It basically is just like, you know what? Me and, Johnny, we both like pizza. But Johnny, he fucking likes to beat on women. So I must just be like Johnny. And I guess I shouldn't be mad at Johnny for being like that. Because we both like pizza. No, it don't work that fucking way. It does not work that way. You cannot validate what others may think is bad by pointing out that, hey, other people who might have something in common with you bad. Because, hey, I'm sure there's plenty of racists say, I like the Duke Blue Devils in college basketball. I am not going to sit here and tell you that there are no Duke Blue Devil fans that aren't racist, because you know what? There probably are. That doesn't mean that, like, we share a common point. It's mind-boggling how people like to think these days. I just don't fucking get it. But hey, maybe maybe I shouldn't try to separate things and look at everything from a logical point and take everything from a certain perspective. Maybe I need to try to pigeonhole shit and fucking be as fucking acute in my thought process as people are. I'm too obtuse, too open-minded, people. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, fuck. Regardless of how I feel, I'm not gonna try to justify or validate that. If I had some fucked up beliefs, I can't validate that by pointing out that other people are fucked up. It's just dumb. It makes me look like an idiot. It reaffirms the fact that, yo, I'm a fucked up person, because what I'm trying to do is trying to justify being a fucked up person by using fucked up people as an example of how fucked up we all are. It just don't work that way for me. I'm sorry. It really don't. But hey, that's fucking just me. God damn it, 18 and a half minutes. I just had to say that because I get sick and tired of, again, of all sides, I get sick and tired of seeing, the black conspiracy theory things that fucking try to validate, okay, it's okay for us to be fucked up like this because this fucked up happened. I get tired of the Trump supporters trying to convince us that, hey, they're bad people who are Democrats and liberals. No shit, Sherlock. I get tired of all that. Maybe it's just social media I'm tired of. Seriously. It's social media. I'm sure it is, because people seem to want to justify dumb shit all the time on social media. And maybe I need to stay off it. I don't know. Anyway, as always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.